Hey friends, welcome back to this homeschooling naturopath. If you're new here, my name's Hannah and I'm a homeschool mom of 3 girls who are 11, 9, and 7, and I'm also a fully qualified naturopath living in New Zealand. On this channel, I like to share content related to homeschooling, homemaking, motherhood, as well as some naturopathic info throughout some of my content here. Today's video, I am sitting down to plan out a month of meals for the month of May, so if you're interested to see what I plan, and this is a plan for sure, because if you're not new around here, you know we are having a baby this month, in the month of May. So this is my plan that I'm going into the month with. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, if you're interested to see what I have planned for the month of May, for breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, keep watching. Wow, can you believe we are already in May? How fast is this year going? I'm sure for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, it's probably a very exciting time, wrapping up your homeschool years and the warmer weather headed your way, summer right around the corner. For us down here in the Southern Hemisphere, it's exciting as well, but you know, for different reasons. May is our last month of autumn, so we are looking down the barrel at winter, but you know, that's okay. For us and our family, it's a very exciting month, the month of May, because as you guys will know, we are expecting a baby. So May is a month that I have been waiting for quite some time now, and I won't lie and say that I have not been rage cleaning my house and in full nesting mode, planning and organizing for the arrival of this new little one. And of course, a huge part of that for me is making sure that I am organized and on top of my meal planning. So my plan this month is just to go in as if it's any other month. I have planned our breakfasts, our lunches, and our dinners every day of the month except for the weekend. You guys know I don't plan lunches on the weekends. But other than that, I'm just going into the month strong and we're going to see how it goes. I spent the whole month of April doubling up a lot of our meals. If you caught my April meal plan, I only had about 6 meals on there that I intended to double for the freezer. But as it turned out, my instinctual nesting brain just automatically cooked more of almost everything we ate last month. So the freezer is well and truly stocked, almost to the point where we can no longer fit anything in it, which is kind of annoying. We've literally had 3 different people offer us meat this past month as well. We had someone offering some wild venison, another offering wild pork, and another friend who offered us half a cow if we wanted to go in on half a cow with him. And unfortunately, it's just really bad timing. Our freezer actually is really big, but our dog is on a raw diet, and so about half of the freezer is his food exclusively, so I have to be really mindful of that, because if I fill it up with our food, then I won't have anywhere to put his raw stuff. And I know what you're thinking, Hannah, why don't you guys just buy a second freezer? Well, that is what I have also suggested to my husband, so we'll see how that goes. I'm still working on that. Anyways, that is enough blabbing about that. Let's get on to the actual meals for this May meal plan. So you guys know my layout. BLD stands for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you guys probably also know that I rotate our breakfasts and our lunches during our homeschool week, so every Monday will be the same thing. Every Monday morning for the month of May, we'll be having eggs on sourdough toast. I've been doing different types of sourdough toast lately. I've been kind of rotating between, you know, a normal loaf. We've also been doing chocolate sourdough as well as sourdough sandwich bread we've also been enjoying. So kind of keeping the bread that we're eating on a bit of a rotation there as well, I find helps, just to kind of make sure that we don't all get really sick of the same breakfast, because that can definitely happen when you're having the same breakfast, you know, on that weekly rotation. Tuesday's breakfast for the month of May, we are going to be doing a Dutch baby pancake. This is a recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. We call it a Dutch baby. I don't know, some people call it like a puff pancake, or I don't know. Dutch baby is what we call it around here, so that is what I write, and I don't have to write the whole pancake word out as well. Wednesday's lunch is going to be sourdough biscuits. This is also a recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. And for this, I don't do gravy throughout the week. I feel like biscuits and gravy is more of a special kind of Sunday morning meal. So when I do sourdough biscuits for our homeschool week, we just have it with butter and jam, and usually a side of eggs as well as fruit and smoothies and stuff like that. We are definitely having less smoothies than we were in our summertime, but I mean, all my girls still really enjoy a good smoothie every now and again. And really exciting in our colder months, the fruit that comes into season throughout winter is like the best. We eat so many mandarins and kiwis and feijoas, so we've just been getting those in like hotcakes at the moment, and oh, it's like one of the best parts about winter in my opinion. Thursday's breakfast is actually staying the same as it did for the month of April because we have all thoroughly been enjoying eggs and hash. The hash, I don't know what you might call this. It's just fried potatoes. I went through a phase of making my own homemade hash browns, but I decided actually it's too much effort, and so all I've been doing on a Thursday morning is cutting up my potatoes into little cubes and then frying them off and topping it with some cheese. And that with the eggs is just so delicious, and it's perfect for Thursday morning because my girls do jujitsu, so it's a great super filling high protein breakfast for them. And then Fridays I like to keep it a little bit simpler. We're usually headed out the door straight after breakfast on a Friday morning for a field trip, so porridge is always a go-to. My girls will top it with raisins, cranberries, vanilla, walnuts, what else? Chocolate chips, like whatever we have that they can top their porridge with, that is what they do, and it's always a big winner. Saturday's breakfast is remaining the same as it usually is, and that is make your own, and this is kind of an opportunity for my girls to get really creative in the kitchen with their own breakfast, or just pour themselves a bowl of Weet-Bix, which is our national breakfast cereal here in New Zealand. Saturday mornings are the one day a week where I allow myself to kind of just stay in bed and drink my coffee. I might put some YouTube on my TV while I'm cozied up in bed with my hot coffee. And so, yeah, that's when my girls get to make their own breakfast. Sunday mornings are a little bit more special. I like to choose something a little bit more, hearty, homely. I don't know. Sunday morning breakfast is just special for some reason in my mind. So this month we're going in with an Eggs Benedict. I've actually never made this before, so it's going to be interesting. Breakfast tacos I saw on Pinterest, and I thought, actually, those look delicious. Tacos in any shape or form are delicious, so breakfast tacos are going to have to be. Pumpkin cinnamon rolls, these will be sourdough, and then finally a breakfast skillet. Now, this month's meal plan, while I have all intentions of going into the month strong with it, it is very subject to change this month. Obviously, I don't know exactly what date my baby will be arriving, but whatever date that ends up being, the meal plan will just change and, adjust to accommodate that. That's when we'll start to get stuff out of the freezer, and definitely we'll probably be relying on simpler breakfasts and lunches. I might be able to pass for lunches. We'll see. We'll see how we go with lunches. But yeah, keeping in mind, if you're having a baby or not, meal plans are always subject to change, and never feel like you failed at something or you failed at your meal planning if your meal plan has to change for any reason. None of this is ever set in stone. It is just how you go into the month and how you set your intentions. So anyways, with that being said, the Monday rotation for our homeschool lunches for this month is going to be soup again, just like for the month of April. I'm just going to be rotating through a few different soups here. We've got pumpkin soup, vegetable soup. This will be like carrots, onion, celery, any kind of veggie I have, and then pearl barley I've been really enjoying putting in soups lately, so I'll probably put that in there. Leek and potato soup, this is one of our favorites, and then of course a broccoli cheese soup, obviously another one of our favorites. Monday is a much slower homeschool day for us. It is one of the days of the week that we don't have anything outside of the home, so I am able to make a soup comfortably and not feel rushed for time. Tuesdays we're out the door for sport immediately after lunch, so I have to make something that's a little bit quicker quicker. And so for this month, I am rotating between sourdough pizza rolls and sourdough ham and cheese rolls. And all I do for this is whip up a quick sourdough pizza dough. And I usually try to do this first thing in the morning so that it has a little bit of time to rise. And then I just roll it out and put in whatever fillings I want. So for pizza rolls, obviously I'm like pepperoni, bacon, cheese, tomato paste, that type of thing. And then for the ham and cheese, it's just ham and cheese, pretty straightforward. And then I just kind of cut them almost into like a crescent roll shape and then roll them up and bake them, and they're delicious, and I can throw them in a lunchbox and it's easy peasy. Wednesdays are another day where we don't have any commitments on outside of the home at the moment, and so I feel comfortable making something that takes me a little bit longer to prepare. I've had my eye on some delicious looking vegetarian curries at the moment, and so I'm using my Wednesday lunch to take advantage of those meals. So this month I've got lined up a lentil dal with homemade sourdough naan bread, chickpea curry, marry me white beans, which this is a weird name, but they look so good, and then Mexican beans with rice. Thursdays we have jiu-jitsu on in the morning, and when we get home I have to immediately prepare lunch if I haven't prepared it before we left. So pretty easy, simple bean burrito or bean quesadilla, we'll see. Quesadillas will tend to be a little bit easier in my opinion, and like everyone loves a good quesadilla. So either bean burritos or bean quesadillas for Thursday lunch this month. And if I'm making something like a bean quesadilla, then I usually will put like a big vegetable platter on the side. Cucumber is out of season for us now, so there'll be no cucumber, and actually tomatoes are also going up in price. But yeah, getting creative with carrot sticks and celery sticks and all of that type of thing. A nice veggie platter on the side is always good. And then Friday's lunch, I am keeping the same as my April meal plan, and we are just going to be rotating through different pasta dishes. Friday, we typically are out on a field trip of some kind, and so a pasta dish is something that I can whip up either the night before or the morning of and throw it in a lunchbox for all of us to share. And, it's pretty easy and straightforward and easy to rotate through and not get bored of the different flavors. So for this month, I have got planned a pesto pasta, which is one of our absolute favorite pastas to have, broccoli pasta, which is a recipe that I saw over on Pinterest, a pumpkin mac and cheese, which is where you puree the pumpkin and then add it to your bechamel sauce, which is really yummy, and then a mushroom pasta bake. All right, and moving on now to dinners. Now dinners, I do not rotate the same thing, for that particular day every single week. I do change dinners up every night of the week, except for Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays are always leftover night, and Saturday is always pizza night, and we do rotate the kind of pizza that we have for pizza night so we don't get bored, although who gets bored of pizza, let's be real. Anyway, dinners for this month is a real mixture of recipes that I found on Pinterest as well as recipes that I have just been kind of craving. So starting off the first Monday of the month here, we are doing honey and garlic chicken lo mein. That is a recipe that I randomly came across on Pinterest. I've actually already made it by the time I'm doing this voiceover, and it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. I probably won't be making it again. My kids and my husband enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite anyway. And typically what I do is I rotate our proteins, but obviously I don't know, I dropped the ball here. So the next day we had chicken korma with rice and homemade sourdough naan bread. This is just a really yummy, comforting, warming curry dish, Indian inspired curry. I'm definitely not the best at Indian cuisine, but we all enjoy this chicken korma recipe, and it's really easy to hide a lot of veggies in there as well. Okay, and then on to some good old steak and a mushroom risotto. I've been really enjoying mushrooms this last trimester of pregnancy. I don't know why, but mushroom risotto is something that I just absolutely love. And actually the process of making risotto I find quite comforting when I'm in the right mindset to stand at the stove and stir a pot for a long time. That probably sounds a bit strange, but there you go. That's me. And then on to a chicken gnocchi soup. This is a recipe from Farmhouse on Boone. I think she calls it a creamy chicken and gnocchi soup. 10 out of 10. We all love this soup. It is seriously so delicious. I make the sourdough gnocchi as well, and it is So, so good. And then, of course, that Friday, leftovers, Saturday, pizza night. Again, we rotate. Sometimes we do sourdough pizza, sometimes it's yeast pizza, sometimes we do it in the pizza oven, sometimes it's normal oven, what have you. And then the first Sunday of the month there was a Mississippi pot roast, which is a recipe again that I found on Pinterest. Okay, the next Monday there I have got a beef ragu, and this is another recipe that I found on Pinterest. With this, I just put everything in the slow cooker first thing in the morning, so it's super easy and straightforward to make. Tuesday, we're going to be having a Thai chicken and pumpkin curry. Again, a recipe off Pinterest. We've got a lot of pumpkin at the moment, so I'm trying to figure out where I can use it. I am one who will randomly add pumpkin to like anything, smoothies, any type of pasta sauce, macaroni and cheese. I will put pumpkin in anything, but if I can use large amounts for a curry, that's always good too. The next Wednesday there is a lamb bolognese, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, is going to be pretty similar to the beef ragu, just with the different meat. So I don't know, I might have to swap that around. And then the Thursday there, a good old classic chicken pot pie. I really like to make a sourdough pastry for this, and it's like to die for. I love a good sourdough pastry chicken pot pie. Friday, leftovers, Saturday, pizza night, and then the next Sunday there, we're going to be having chicken and biscuits. And this, again, now that I'm thinking about it, is actually very similar to chicken pot pie, except instead of the sourdough pastry, I make sourdough biscuits. But, you know, obviously I'm craving quite a few things that are similar this month. On to the third week here, we're going to be having a chicken and leek pie, which again will be with a sourdough pastry. And looking at this again, I see I've written down leek and potato soup. I can easily swap my soups around throughout the month, so I'm not worried about that. And also, I don't think anyone will actually mind if there's leeks in two things on the same day. Going on then to Tuesday, coconut beef curry. This is a recipe from Pinterest that I'm really, really excited to try. It looks really good. Wednesday, there is, by request, a shrimp scampi. I've got one child who absolutely loves shrimp. It's kind of random, but she requested that this month, so I've only made that once or twice before, but I'm going to try it again for her. Next up for that Thursday will be a beef and spinach cannelloni. This is another recipe from Pinterest. I have been practicing my pasta making lately. I've been continuing making homemade pasta, and I have not made cannelloni yet, so I'm going to give that a go. It doesn't seem too hard, so hopefully that turns out nice. And then, of course, Friday night leftovers and Saturday night pizza night. And for the third Sunday of the month there, I've got planned a lasagna soup. This is something I started making last winter for the first time, and it's like my second favorite soup now. I won't say it's my first favorite, but my second favorite soup. On to the final week. For that Monday, I've got planned an apple braised pork shoulder. This is something I've never made before, and you know, depending on if I have a baby by then or not, I may or may not make this ever, but this is what I have planned. This again is a recipe that I found on Pinterest, and I thought it looked really good, so threw that in there. The Tuesday, white chicken chili. This is my favorite soup. You could argue that chili is not soup, but yeah, white chicken chili. Oh, there's something truly special about it on a cold autumn evening. That Wednesday there, I've got planned a satay beef on rice. There's this delicious Thai food place that we go to all the time as a family, and they actually sell their house-made satay sauce. So I've got some of that in my cupboard, and I thought that would be a good recipe to use it up with, so gonna give that a go. And then teriyaki chicken rice balls, something that my girls absolutely love, and it's so easy to throw together. For that, I'll just I'll either cook a whole chicken or chicken thighs depending on what I have, and then pull all the meat apart, and then I like to just whip together a quick teriyaki sauce, some pretty basic ingredients, and then I'll steam carrots, broccoli, cream cheese, Kewpie mayo, all kinds of different little things that the girls can then put in their rice balls, and it is like delicious. Friday, leftovers, Saturday, pizza night, and then for the final Sunday of the month there, I've got chili and cornbread. The cornbread recipe that I like to use now is again from Farmhouse on Boone, and it is a sourdough cornbread, and it is the best recipe that I have found. I don't know about you guys, but different cornbread recipes, especially different sourdough cornbread recipes, they just really seem to vary. It's quite strange. You wouldn't think there'd be that much variation between recipes, but there actually is, and I think everyone has their preference. Anyway, I do really like the Farmhouse on Boone sourdough cornbread recipe. On now to Sunday night dessert. Sunday nights for us are family dessert and game night, so we always will have a nice dessert planned, and then we'll just pick a few different family games to play, and it's a really nice sort of Sunday evening to kind of reset and get ready for another week. I chose to write this in yellow for some reason. Wasn't really thinking about how it would come onto the camera, I guess. You probably can't really read it. Also, I'll read it to you, what I've got written here. For the first Sunday of the month there, I've got planned apple pie spring rolls, and I actually plan on making this with caramel sauce. I follow a Kiwi lady here on YouTube. Her channel is Farmer's Wife Homestead, and she has a video of apple pie spring rolls and caramel sauce, and my girls and I watched that the other day, and we were all like, yeah, that's going on our dessert menu this month. The second Sunday there, I've got a humble pumpkin pie planned. We've got a lot of pumpkin at the moment, because they're so cheap, so I've just been buying a lot of pumpkin, and I actually need to use it. And then I've got planned a caramel apple cheesecake, and then finally a pumpkin cobbler, if I can read my own writing here. When it comes to Sunday night dessert ideas, I kind of just go with whatever we have an abundance of as far as like fruit or pumpkin goes. We were doing a lot of berry cobblers and a lot of cherry berry things throughout the summer, but of course now it's mainly apple and pumpkin for us. And the vast majority of the recipes or the ideas that I get for dessert nights come from either social media or from Pinterest, so I'm not very creative personally when it comes to dessert nights. It's literally just stuff that I've seen other people make, or I've saw the recipe on Pinterest. On now to my baking ideas for the week. If you follow around here, you know that I tend not to buy snacks in our home. I don't really buy chips or crackers or anything like that. And instead I just do a lot of baking. So I like to keep a little baking ideas section in my planner here so that when it comes time to bake something, I have some ideas and I can just whip them up pretty easily. I tend to gravitate toward muffins or scones when it comes to my baking, so I try to keep a list of like different variations of these things just so that we don't get bored of them. So this month, some ideas that I have written down are pumpkin scone, well, you might call them scones. I call them scones because that's what they're called here in New Zealand. So pumpkin scones, cinnamon apple bread, this again, and all of this usually will be sourdough as well. Carrot muffins, chocolate zucchini muffins, again, we call zucchini courgettes here, but if I'm talking about baking with them, then it has to be zucchini. Rice Krispie treats, which my girls have actually requested this month. They're quite keen to make them themselves, so that'll be good. Something that they can whip together. Cheese crackers. My oldest daughter has been making a lot of sourdough cheese crackers for us, so that is on our baking menu. Cinnamon babka, which must be a recipe that I saw on Pinterest. We're doing Pop-Tarts again. This is with sourdough pastry, and then finally an apple twist bread, which again, sourdough, and I saw the recipe on Pinterest. And there you have it, my friends. Another month meal planned out, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, dessert nights, as well as some baking ideas. I truly hope that I get to make most of this, but like I said, we'll see how we go, and I will let you guys know next month how this all went. Thank you all so much for watching my video today. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you taking your time to hang out with me and see what I have got meal planned. I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!